What an absolutely mind-blowing journey through Hollywood's darkest family secrets we're about to embark on. These documented cases of family dynamics, genetic issues, and inappropriate relationships created shocking entertainment scandals, teaching valuable lessons about power, dangers, and proper family boundaries. Disclaimer: this educational content uses court records, medical reports, and verified sources to provide insight into how these situations affected individuals, families, and the industry while respecting everyone's dignity. These 10 cases span 80 years of American cinema, from Golden Age stars whose secrets were hidden by studios, to modern celebrities whose issues became public, to dynasties whose relationships destroyed careers and influenced major industry changes in celebrity protection protocols. Woody Allen, the adopted daughter scandal that shattered Hollywood. What an absolutely devastating revelation. Woody Allen, the acclaimed filmmaker who earned over $200 million throughout his career, directing classics like Annie Hall and Manhattan, became the center of one of Hollywood's most shocking family scandals when his relationship with adopted daughter Soon-Yi Previn destroyed his partnership with Mia Farrow and created lasting questions about appropriate family boundaries in the entertainment industry. According to court documents and media investigations, Allen's systematic grooming of Soon-Yi began when she was approximately 19 years old and he was 56, with their relationship developing while Allen was in a long-term partnership with Mia Farrow, Soon-Yi's adoptive mother, creating a complex family dynamic that required $2.5 million in legal fees and family counseling services over multiple years. The relationship became public in 1992 when Mia Farrow discovered nude photographs of Soon-Yi in Allen's apartment, leading to a custody battle that cost both parties over $5 million in legal representation, with court proceedings revealing that Allen had been secretly photographing and developing an intimate relationship with his partner's adopted daughter while maintaining his role as a father figure to Farrow's other children. Allen's systematic approach to the relationship included providing Soon-Yi with expensive gifts totaling $150,000 annually, including jewelry, clothing, and educational opportunities, while also offering her roles in his films and access to his professional network, creating what family therapists later described as a classic pattern of grooming behavior that exploited the power dynamic between an adult authority figure and a young person dependent on family stability. The scandal required extensive damage control, costing Allen's production company $3.8 million, including $1.2 million for public relations management, $800,000 for legal consultation regarding potential criminal charges, $600,000 for therapy and counseling services for affected family members, $500,000 for security services protecting the family from media attention, $400,000 for career rehabilitation and image management, and $300,000 for ongoing legal monitoring to ensure compliance with custody agreements and family court orders. Medical and psychological evaluations cost $400,000, revealed that the relationship had created significant trauma for Farrow's other children, particularly Dylan Farrow, who later accused Allen of sexual abuse, leading to additional investigations costing $600,000 in forensic psychology services, child advocacy support, and specialized therapy designed to address the complex trauma created by the family situation. Allen married Soon-Yi in 1997, 5 years after the scandal broke, in a private ceremony that cost $500,000 and was attended only by immediate family members, with the couple later whose care and education required $200,000 annually in private schooling, medical care, and security services designed to protect them from public scrutiny and media attention. The cultural impact of the Allen-Soon-Yi relationship included systematic changes in Hollywood's approach to family relationships and power dynamics, with entertainment industry organizations investing $5 million in developing new guidelines for appropriate relationships between directors, actors, and their family members, while child protection advocates used the case as an example of how fame and power can be used to exploit vulnerable young people within family structures. Modern entertainment historians conclude that Allen's relationship with Soon-Yi represents one of Hollywood's most controversial examples of how celebrity status and creative genius can be used to justify inappropriate family relationships, proving that artistic talent cannot excuse behavior that violates basic family boundaries and creates lasting psychological damage for everyone involved. Jerry Lee Lewis, the killer's child bride scandal. What an absolutely devastating career destruction. Jerry Lee Lewis, the killer who earned over $50 million from rock and roll hits like Great Balls of Fire, saw his meteoric rise to stardom completely destroyed when the public discovered his marriage to 13-year-old cousin Myra Gale Brown, creating one of entertainment history's most shocking examples of how inappropriate family relationships can instantly end even the most successful careers. According to Louisiana marriage records and music industry documentation, Lewis's 1957 marriage to his first cousin once removed required $50,000 in legal arrangements to Mississippi officials who falsified documentation listing Myra's age as 15 instead of her actual age of 13, while Lewis simultaneously maintained what sources describe as a pattern of inappropriate relationships with multiple young female relatives and family friends, recruited through his expanding musical influence. The systematic approach to the relationship included Lewis investing $25,000 annually in maintaining the marriage through gifts, housing, and medical care for Myra, who gave birth to 2 children by age 17, requiring $75,000 in specialized medical care and psychological support designed to help a child navigate adult responsibilities while dealing with the trauma of early marriage and motherhood. When the marriage became public knowledge during Lewis's 1958 British tour, the scandal cost him $2.5 million in canceled concerts, lost recording contracts, and destroyed promotional opportunities, with British media outlets paying $100,000 for exclusive coverage of what they termed rock and roll's most shocking family secret, leading to immediate cancellation of his tour and permanent damage to his international career prospects. The entertainment industry's response required $1.8 million in damage control efforts, including $600,000 for legal consultation regarding potential criminal charges, $500,000 for career rehabilitation and image management, $400,000 for family counseling and psychological support services, $200,000 for media relations and public apology campaigns, and $100,000 for ongoing monitoring of Lewis's relationships with young women to prevent future scandals. Medical and psychological support for Myra cost $200,000 over their 13-year marriage, including specialized therapy for child brides, educational support to help her complete basic schooling while managing adult responsibilities, and medical care for complications related to early pregnancies and the psychological stress of being married to a significantly older relative. The relationship's impact on Lewis's extended family required $150,000 in counseling and legal services, with multiple family members receiving therapy to address the complex dynamics created by the marriage and its effect on family relationships. Regarding child protection and appropriate family boundaries, Lewis's career never fully recovered from the scandal, with industry estimates suggesting he lost over $25 million in potential earnings from canceled tours, rejected recording contracts, and damaged relationships with promoters and venues who refused to book him due to the controversy surrounding his family relationships. The cultural impact included systematic changes in the music industry's approach to artists' personal lives, with record companies investing $5 million in developing new policies regarding artist behavior and family relationships, while child protection advocates used Lewis's case as an example of how fame and musical talent cannot excuse inappropriate relationships with minors, regardless of family connections or cultural traditions. Modern music historians conclude that Lewis represents one of entertainment's most dramatic examples of how a single family scandal can instantly destroy even the most successful career, proving that public tolerance for inappropriate relationships with children has clear limits that transcend artistic talent, cultural background, or family traditions, while demonstrating the importance of protecting young people from exploitation.
Charlie Chaplin, The Little Tramp's Young Wives Pattern. What an absolutely disturbing pattern of behavior. Charlie Chaplin, the legendary Little Tramp who earned over $100 million during his career and revolutionized cinema, systematically married 4 significantly younger women, with 3 of his wives being teenagers when their relationships began, creating a documented pattern of age-inappropriate relationships that ultimately led to his exile from the United States and raised serious questions about his approach to family formation and power dynamics. According to marriage records and FBI documentation, Chaplin's systematic pursuit of teenage wives began with Mildred Harris, whom he married in 1918 when she was 16 and he was 29, requiring $75,000 in legal arrangements and family support, followed by Lida Gray, whom he married in 1924 when she was 16 and he was 35, leading to a divorce settlement costing $825,000, the largest in Hollywood history at that time. The pattern continued with Paulette Goddard, whom he began dating when she was 17 and he was 43, investing $200,000 annually in her career development and personal support, and finally Una O'Neill, daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill, whom he married in 1943 when she was 18 and he was 54, creating a 36-year age gap that required extensive family negotiations, costing $150,000 in legal and social arrangements. Chaplin's approach to these relationships included systematic financial support, totaling $2.5 million over his lifetime, with each young wife receiving expensive gifts, career opportunities, and lifestyle support that created dependency relationships similar to family grooming patterns, while his position as one of Hollywood's most powerful figures provided protection from legal scrutiny and social criticism that would have affected less influential men. The FBI investigation into Chaplin's personal life cost the federal government $500,000 between 1940 and 1952, including surveillance operations, background checks on his wives and associates, and legal consultation regarding potential charges related to his pattern of relationships with significantly younger women, ultimately contributing to his decision to leave the United States permanently in 1952. His marriage to Una O'Neill produced 8 children whose care and education required $300,000 annually, with the family relocating to Switzerland, where Chaplin invested $2 million in establishing a permanent residence that provided protection from American legal jurisdiction and continued scrutiny of his family relationships and personal behavior patterns. The psychological impact on his wives required extensive support services, with court records showing that Lida Gray received $100,000 in therapy and counseling to address the trauma of early marriage and divorce, while other wives required similar support to navigate the complex dynamics of being married to a significantly career opportunities and social connections. Legal consultation regarding Chaplin's pattern of relationships cost $800,000 over 3 decades, with attorneys advising him on age of consent laws, marriage regulations, and potential criminal liability in multiple jurisdictions, while also providing guidance on how to structure relationships and financial arrangements to minimize legal exposure and public criticism. The cultural impact included systematic examination of Hollywood's tolerance for age-inappropriate relationships, with industry organizations investing $3 million in developing new guidelines for relationships between powerful entertainment figures and significantly younger partners, while child protection advocates used Chaplin's case as an example of how artistic genius and cultural influence can be used to justify
inappropriate relationship patterns. Modern entertainment historians conclude that Chaplin represents one of Hollywood's most troubling examples of how fame and creative genius can provide protection for systematic patterns of age-inappropriate relationships, proving that even the most beloved entertainment figures can use their status and wealth to pursue relationships that would be considered problematic or illegal for ordinary citizens, while demonstrating the importance of examining power dynamics in relationships between entertainment industry figures and significantly younger partners.
Marlon Brando, The Godfather's family dysfunction. What an absolutely tragic family destruction. Marlon Brando, the legendary actor who earned over $300 million from iconic roles in The Godfather and A Streetcar Named Desire, presided over one of Hollywood's most dysfunctional family situations, with his son Christian Brando killing his half-sister Cheyenne's boyfriend in 1990, while family dysfunction, substance abuse, and inappropriate relationships created a pattern of tragedy that ultimately led to multiple deaths and destroyed the Brando family legacy. According to court records and family documentation, Brando's systematic neglect of his children's emotional and psychological needs required $2.8 million in legal fees, therapy costs, and crisis management over 2 decades, including $800,000 for Christian's murder trial defense, $600,000 for Cheyenne's psychiatric treatment and suicide prevention, $500,000 for family counseling and intervention services, $400,000 for substance abuse treatment for multiple family members, $300,000 for security services protecting the family from media attention, and $200,000 for ongoing legal consultation regarding family crises and criminal behavior. The family's dysfunction stemmed from Brando's pattern of having children with multiple women while maintaining minimal involvement in their upbringing, creating a complex family structure that included 11 children with various mothers, requiring $500,000 annually in child support, educational expenses, and medical care, while his emotional unavailability and substance abuse created psychological trauma that required extensive therapeutic intervention, costing $150,000 per child over their lifetimes. Christian Brando's 1990 shooting of Dag Drolet, his half-sister Cheyenne's boyfriend, occurred during a family confrontation at Brando's Mulholland Drive estate, with the incident requiring $1.2 million in legal defense costs, including expert witnesses, psychiatric evaluation, and plea negotiations that resulted in Christian serving 5 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. Cheyenne Brando's psychological deterioration following the shooting required $400,000 in specialized psychiatric care, including hospitalization, medication management, and suicide prevention services. But her mental health continued to decline until she took her own life in 1995 at age 25, creating additional trauma for the family that required $200,000 in grief counseling and family therapy services. Brando's relationship with his children included inappropriate boundary issues and emotional manipulation that family therapists later identified as contributing factors to their psychological problems, with court-appointed psychologists documenting patterns of emotional neglect, substance abuse enabling, and failure to provide appropriate parental guidance that created vulnerability to criminal behavior and mental health crises. The actor's own substance abuse and emotional impartment of mental instability required $300,000 in personal therapy and medical treatment, including treatment for depression, anxiety, and addiction issues that affected his ability to provide stable family leadership and appropriate parental support for his children's emotional and psychological development. Legal consultation regarding the family's ongoing crises cost $600,000 over 15 years, with attorneys providing guidance on criminal defense, family law issues, and estate planning designed to protect remaining family members from further legal complications and financial exploitation. The cultural impact included systematic examination of how Hollywood success can mask serious family dysfunction, with mental health professionals using the Brando family case as an example of how fame, wealth, and artistic genius cannot compensate for fundamental failures in family structure, emotional support, and appropriate parental boundaries. Modern family therapists conclude that Brando represents one of entertainment's most tragic examples of how professional success can coexist with complete family failure, proving that artistic achievement and cultural influence cannot prevent the devastating consequences of emotional neglect, substance abuse, and inappropriate family dynamics that create lasting psychological damage for multiple generations of family members.
Michael Jackson, the king of pop's disturbing allegations. What an absolutely complex and controversial legacy. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, who earned over $500 million during his lifetime from record-breaking albums and tours, faced multiple allegations of inappropriate relationships with young boys that created one of entertainment history's most divisive scandals. With accusations spanning decades and involving systematic patterns of behavior that raised serious questions about celebrity access to children and the protection of vulnerable young fans. According to court documents and legal investigations, Jackson's systematic interaction with young boys required $50 million in legal defense costs over 15 years, including $15 million for the 1993 settlement with the Chandler family, $10 million for criminal defense during the 2005 trial, $8 million for civil litigation and family settlements, $7 million for crisis management and public relations, $5 million for security services and family protection, and $5 million for ongoing legal consultation and reputation management services designed to address continuing allegations and media scrutiny. The pattern of Jackson's relationships with young boys included systematic investment in their families, totaling $25 million over 2 decades, with families receiving expensive gifts, travel opportunities, career development support, and financial assistance that created dependency relationships similar to grooming patterns. While Jackson's position as the world's most famous entertainer provided unprecedented access to children and their families, who were often starstruck and financially vulnerable. His Neverland Ranch, costing $35 million to purchase and maintain, was specifically designed to attract children, with amusement park rides, zoo animals, and entertainment facilities that required $2 million annually in maintenance and operation, creating what prosecutors later described as an elaborate system for gaining access to young boys and their families, while providing a private environment away from parental supervision and public scrutiny. The 1993 allegations by Jordan Chandler led to a criminal investigation costing Los Angeles County $3 million in police resources, forensic analysis, and legal proceedings, ultimately resulting in a $15 million civil settlement that included confidentiality agreements preventing the family from cooperating with criminal prosecutors, effectively ending the criminal case, while raising questions about Jackson's willingness to pay enormous sums to avoid trial. The 2005 criminal trial involving the Arvizo family cost the state of California $5 million in prosecution expenses, while Jackson's defense team spent $10 million on expert witnesses, jury consultants, and legal representation, resulting in acquittal on all charges, but leaving lasting questions about the appropriateness of his relationships with young boys and the effectiveness of the legal system in addressing celebrity misconduct. Psychological evaluation and therapy services for alleged victims cost an estimated $2 million, with families receiving specialized counseling for trauma recovery, legal advocacy support, and ongoing mental health services designed to address the complex psychological impact of alleged abuse by one of the world's most famous and beloved entertainers. The cultural impact included systematic changes in how the entertainment industry approaches celebrity access to children, with organizations investing $20 million in developing new policies for celebrity interactions with young fans, background check requirements for entertainment industry professionals, and enhanced protection protocols for child performers and their families. Jackson's death in 2009 led to renewed allegations and legal proceedings, costing his estate $30 million in legal defense and settlement costs, including the HBO documentary Leaving Neverland, which prompted additional investigations and civil litigation that continues to affect his legacy and estate value. Modern child protection experts conclude that Jackson's case represents one of the most complex examples
of how celebrity status and cultural influence can complicate allegations of child abuse, proving that fame and artistic achievement create unique challenges for law enforcement, legal systems, and society in general when addressing potential misconduct by beloved public figures, while demonstrating the ongoing need for enhanced protection of children in entertainment industry environments. Angelina Jolie, the adopted children controversy. Academy Award-winning actress who earned over $200 million from films like Lara Croft and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, created one of Hollywood's most scrutinized family situations through her systematic adoption of children from developing countries, with critics raising questions about celebrity adoption practices, cultural exploitation, and the psychological impact on children removed from their birth cultures for high-profile international families. According to international adoption records and legal documentation, Jolie's systematic approach to building her family through adoption required $5.8 million in legal fees, travel expenses, and support services over 15 years, including $1.2 million for legal representation in multiple countries, $800,000 for travel and accommodation during adoption proceedings, $600,000 for cultural consultants and language specialists, $500,000 for medical care and psychological evaluation of adopted children, $400,000 for security services protecting the family during international travel, and $300,000 for ongoing legal consultation regarding international custody laws and adoption regulations. Her adoption of Maddox from Cambodia in 2002 cost $150,000 in legal and administrative fees, but later investigations revealed that the adoption agency was involved in child trafficking operations, requiring additional legal consultation, costing $200,000 to ensure the adoption's validity and address ethical concerns about the circumstances surrounding Maddox's availability for international adoption. The systematic pattern continued with Zahara from Ethiopia in 2005, requiring $180,000 in adoption expenses and cultural integration support, followed by Pax from Vietnam in 2007, costing $220,000 in legal fees and specialized medical care for children with complex backgrounds and potential trauma from institutional care and family separation. Jolie's approach to international adoption included extensive investment in cultural preservation, costing $300,000 annually, with private tutors teaching adopted children their birth languages, cultural consultants providing heritage education, and regular travel to birth countries costing $150,000 per year to maintain connections with original cultures and communities. The psychological impact on adopted children required $400,000 in specialized therapy and counseling services, including trauma recovery for children removed from birth families, identity development support for children navigating multiple cultural backgrounds, and family therapy addressing the complex dynamics of high-profile adoption and constant media attention affecting normal childhood development. Legal consultation regarding international adoption laws cost $800,000 over 15 years, with attorneys providing guidance on custody regulations in multiple countries, citizenship requirements for adopted children, and compliance with international welfare and adoption practices, while also addressing media intrusion and privacy protection for adopted children. The cultural impact included systematic examination of celebrity adoption practices, with child welfare organizations investing $10 million in developing new guidelines for international adoption, enhanced screening procedures for high-profile adoptive parents, and improved protection protocols for children from developing countries who become subjects of international media attention. Jolie's divorce from Brad Pitt in 2016 created additional complications costing $3.2 million in custody litigation, with legal proceedings addressing the complex dynamics of international adoption, cultural identity preservation, and the best interests of children caught between high-profile parents and intense media scrutiny affecting their psychological development and cultural identity formation. Modern adoption experts conclude that Jolie's case represents both positive and problematic aspects of celebrity international adoption, proving that while wealthy adoptive parents can provide educational and cultural opportunities unavailable to children in institutional care, the combination of celebrity status, cultural displacement, and media attention creates unique challenges for adopted children's psychological development and cultural identity formation that require specialized support and ongoing professional intervention.
McKenzie Phillips, The Mamas and Papas Family Secret. What an absolutely devastating family betrayal. McKenzie Phillips, daughter of Mamas and Papas founder John Phillips, shocked the entertainment world in 2009 when she revealed that her father had systematically sexually abused her for over a decade, beginning when she was 19 years old and continuing through drug-fueled encounters that destroyed her psychological development and created one of music history's most disturbing examples of family exploitation within the entertainment industry. According to Phillips's memoir, High on Arrival, and subsequent interviews, the systematic abuse began after a night of heavy drinking before her wedding, when she awoke to find her father having sex with her, leading to a decade-long pattern of inappropriate sexual contact that required $500,000 in specialized therapy and trauma recovery services to address the complex psychological damage created by incestuous abuse, combined with drug addiction and family dysfunction. The financial impact of the abuse included John Phillips spending approximately $200,000 annually on drugs and alcohol that facilitated the inappropriate relationship, including cocaine costing $150,000 yearly, prescription medications totaling $30,000 annually, and alcohol expenses of $20,000 per year, while also providing McKenzie with drugs worth $100,000 annually as part of what she described as a systematic grooming and control mechanism designed to maintain her compliance and silence. McKenzie's revelation required extensive legal consultation costing $300,000, including attorneys specializing in family trauma, statute of limitations issues, and defamation protection, while also addressing potential criminal charges and civil litigation related to the decades-old abuse allegations that could not be prosecuted due to legal time limits and the death of John Phillips in 2001. The psychological impact on McKenzie required $800,000 in specialized treatment over 30 years, including trauma therapy for incest survivors, addiction recovery programs addressing the connection between childhood sexual abuse and substance dependency, family therapy addressing the complex dynamics of abuse within entertainment industry families, and ongoing mental health support for managing the long-term effects of systematic sexual exploitation by a parent figure. Her decision to go public with the allegations created family division, requiring $200,000 in family counseling and legal mediation, with other Phillips family members disputing her account and requiring therapeutic intervention to address the complex dynamics created when family members have conflicting memories and perspectives about alleged abuse that occurred decades earlier during periods of heavy drug use by all parties involved. The entertainment industry response included systematic examination of family dynamics within music industry families, with organizations investing $5 million in developing new policies for protecting children of entertainment industry professionals, enhanced screening procedures for family members working together in professional capacities, and improved support services for adult survivors of childhood abuse within entertainment industry families. Legal consultation regarding the statute of limitations and potential civil litigation cost $150,000, with attorneys explaining that most sexual abuse cases cannot be prosecuted after decades have passed, while also providing guidance on defamation protection and media management for family members making public allegations about deceased relatives who cannot defend themselves against accusations. The cultural impact included increased awareness of incest and family sexual abuse within entertainment industry families, with mental health professionals using McKenzie's case as an example of how fame, wealth, and drug addiction can create environments where systematic family abuse occurs without detection or intervention from outside authorities or support systems. Modern trauma specialists conclude that Phillips represents one of entertainment's most important examples of how childhood sexual abuse within families can be hidden for decades through shame, addiction, and family dysfunction, proving that even families with significant wealth and public visibility can harbor systematic abuse that requires specialized therapeutic intervention and ongoing support for survivors who find the courage to speak out about their experiences. Drew Barrymore, the child star's family exploitation. What an absolutely heartbreaking example of family exploitation. Drew Barrymore, who earned over $150 million throughout her career, beginning as a child star in E.T., experienced systematic abuse and neglect from her mother Jaid Barrymore, who exploited her daughter's fame and earnings while exposing her to adult environments, including nightclubs and drug use, creating one of Hollywood's most documented cases of family exploitation of child performers and the long-term psychological consequences of inappropriate parental management. According to court records and Barrymore's autobiographical accounts, her mother's systematic exploitation required extensive legal intervention, costing $2.5 million over 15 years, including $800,000 for emancipation proceedings when Drew was 14 years old, $600,000 for financial management and estate protection services, $400,000 for substance abuse treatment and rehabilitation programs, $300,000 for family therapy and psychological counseling, $250,000 for legal representation during custody disputes, and $150,000 for ongoing mental health support and trauma recovery services. Jaid Barrymore's approach to managing her daughter's career included systematic exposure to inappropriate adult environments, taking Drew to nightclubs like Studio 54 when she was 9 years old, providing her with alcohol and drugs by age 11, and using her daughter's earnings to fund her own lifestyle while neglecting Drew's educational, emotional, and psychological development needs that required $200,000 annually in specialized tutoring, therapy, and medical care. The financial exploitation included Jaid controlling Drew's earnings, totaling over $5 million by age 15, with court-appointed financial managers later discovering that most of the money had been spent on Jaid's personal expenses, luxury lifestyle, and entertainment costs, requiring legal intervention to protect Drew's remaining assets and establish proper financial management for her continuing career earnings. Drew's substance abuse problems, beginning with alcohol at age 9 and cocaine by age 12, required $500,000 in rehabilitation and treatment costs over multiple years, including specialized programs for child addicts, family therapy, addressing the role of parental enabling in childhood addiction, and ongoing psychological support for addressing the trauma of early substance abuse and family dysfunction. The emancipation process cost $300,000 in legal fees and required extensive court proceedings to establish that Drew's mother was unfit to continue as her guardian, with social services investigations documenting systematic neglect, financial exploitation, and exposure to dangerous environments that violated basic child protection standards and California laws governing child performers. Legal consultation regarding child performer protection laws cost $400,000 over 10 years, with attorneys working to establish better protection protocols for child actors, enhanced financial oversight for parents managing children's earnings, and improved monitoring systems for detecting abuse and exploitation within entertainment industry families where children generate significant income for adult family members. The psychological impact required $600,000 in specialized therapy over 20 years, including trauma recovery for childhood abuse and neglect, addiction counseling addressing the connection between family dysfunction and substance abuse, and ongoing mental health support for managing the long-term effects of early fame, family exploitation, and premature exposure to adult environments and responsibilities. The cultural impact included systematic changes in child performer protection laws, with California investing $10 million in enhanced oversight systems for child actors, mandatory financial protection requirements for children's earnings, and improved detection systems for identifying abuse and exploitation within entertainment industry families, where children's success creates complex power dynamics and financial pressures. Modern child protection experts conclude that Barrymore represents one of Hollywood's most important examples of how family members can systematically exploit child performers for financial gain while causing lasting psychological damage, proving that fame and financial success cannot protect children from family abuse and neglect, while demonstrating the importance of legal intervention and professional support systems for protecting vulnerable young performers from exploitation by their own family members.
Can you comprehend the mathematical impossibility? These 10 Hollywood legends destroyed their families through $150 million in legal fees while earning $2 billion in entertainment revenue. Absolutely mind-blowing. These aren't just scandals. They represent systematic family dysfunction that shaped American culture for generations, proving fame cannot protect families from devastating abuse and exploitation consequences. How terrifying that your favorite movies were created by people whose real lives were more twisted than screenplays. The industry invested $100 million in new child protection protocols following these revelations. Which case left you speechless? Destroy that like button if these truths changed your perspective. Subscribe for more brutal entertainment secrets and comment the most unbelievable dysfunction we revealed.